Okay, on this part, if they ask you to find a specific term, if I took that expansion we just did to the 20th power and said find the 19th term, I don't want to find the first 18 to get to the 19th. Okay, so there ought to be a specific formula. Okay, so on this, to find a specific term in a binomial expansion. Okay. Use this formula. Okay, n factorial, okay, up in the numerator, and it's all over r factorial, and then the quantity n minus r, that quantity factorial. That's the coefficient. Okay, and then the first term is x, whatever your first term is. If your first term was 8a, that would fill in for your x. And then to the n minus r power, and y to the r. Okay, this is the formula for finding a specific term in a binomial expansion. The n is on the outside, the exponent on the outside. The r is always one less than the term you're looking for. So if I asked you to find the 15th term, then r would be 14. If I asked you to find the 5th term, then r would be 4. It's one less than what you're looking for. Okay. The factorials, we've talked about the factorials on the calculator a little bit, but by definition, n factorial is n times n minus 1 times n minus 2, the expansion on down to 1. So like 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which should be 120. And remember, the factorial is under the math key on the calculator, and actually you can get there quicker if you left arrow to probability and then go down to number 4, I think is the exclamation mark, and that is factorial. Okay. If you do this on the calculator, okay, the one thing you have to make sure on the calculator is you need another parentheses, brackets, braces. Okay. If you don't put brackets around this whole thing, what the calculator does, the order of operations, it would just do n factorial divided by r factorial, and then it would take it times the n minus r factorial. So you've got to put an extra set of parentheses or brackets in there. Okay, the first term. Like if the first term in the expansion was 2a, okay, and the y represents the second term, okay. So let's look at an example. Oh, one other thing on the, I know we talked about this before, but when you look at, this is one of the few times this happens in math. 1 factorial is just 1. 0 factorial is also, by definition, 1. And you won't really understand why until we get into permutations, combinations, and probability. Yeah. Or n is the exponent that's on the outside. And I'm going to take you through an example. Like if r is 1 less, like if I said find the 6th term, then your r would be 5. Yep. And n's the exponent on the outside of the parentheses. Yep. Okay. Okay, so let's look at an example. Okay. Say they ask you to, this will be the third one. Say they ask you to find the 5th term of 2a minus 3b and that is to the 8th power. First, I would probably rewrite this as this is the same as 2a plus a negative 3b. That negative 3b is my second term to the 8th power. Okay, I'm looking for the 5th term. R is always 1 less than that. So R on this would be 4. Okay, and this exponent on the outside, that's actually your n. Okay, so, and I'm a firm believer in write the formula down, substitute in, then simplify. So, in the numerator, it's n factorial over r factorial, n minus r, that quantity factorial, x to the n minus r, y to the r. Okay, there's the formula that we're going to use. There's a reason I want you to get used to writing that down too, because of the next chapter. Okay, so write the formula down. Okay, now let's sub in. N factorial is actually 8 factorial. R is 1 less than what we're looking for, so 4 factorial. Okay, and then 8 minus 4, that quantity factorial. The x, this is actually your x, that first term. So it's 2a to the 8 minus 4 power. And negative 3b to the 4th power. Okay, subbing it in. Now, we could simplify that, but I'm going to show you first how to do it by hand. Let's say I didn't have a calculator at home. Okay, so 8 factorial, okay, is actually 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 factorial, right? 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and this would be 4 factorial. And this would be 4 factorial, 4 times 3. I could expand either one of these. Okay? So the 4 factorials would reduce out. 4 times 2 is 8. That reduces out. 3 goes into 3 once and then here twice. Then I have 7 times 5 is 35 times 2 is 70. Okay? Okay, now check me on the calculator. Okay, on your calculator, let's go 8 factorial divided by 4 factorial times 4 factorial. So you have to remember on the, put in that extra set of parentheses. Try it. Test it. So we'd have the math key, left arrow to probability, math key and left arrow to probability, then down to number 4. Divided by, okay, and then parentheses, 4 factorial. Did it work to square it? Okay. So if you put this in on the calculator, you're going to put it in like 8 factorial divided by 4 factorial divided by 4 factorial. But the critical part about that is you want to put in the parentheses. Okay, and you should get 70. Okay, that's the coefficient in front. Okay, now we just need to finish. This would be 2a to the 4th. Okay, so what's 2 to the 4th power? 2 to the 4th? 16. And when you raise a power to a power, what do you do with the exponents? Like if I said 2 to the 2nd times 2 to the 10th. I read that wrong. 2 to the 2nd and raise it to the 10th would be 2 to the 20th. Okay, so this would be a to the 4th. Raise a power to a power, multiply them. What's negative 3 to the 4th? What's a negative to an even power? Positive. And then negative 3 to the 4th should be 81. And then raise a power to a power, multiply them, and get b to the 4th. Okay, now you still have to simplify. I guess I left that out on that line. Okay, so we in the simplification, we've got to multiply. Take 70 times 16 times 81. What do you end up with? Yep, that's right. 90,720 is your coefficient. And then a to the fourth and b to the fourth. Okay, and you know the exponent should add up to, because our exponent here is an 8. We know our exponents should add up to 8 down here, and they do. Okay, that would be the fifth term, and that's much quicker finding it that way than to expand the whole thing. Okay. Any questions on that formula? Okay. Okay.